Hello students, I am your Jasvir Sir from Golden Words Institute of IELTS and Spoken English. Here in this class I would tell you the various aspects of writing. Especially in this particular class I would cover writing task 2 because so far out of my experience of 5 or 6 years I have come to know about that many of the students find difficulty in task 2. Okay. So probably they do not know what to write, how to write, what are those things on basis of which they would get bans. Okay, so please focus on the board. I will try to explain you everything. Still, if you do have any difficulty, then you can post your queries in the comment box and I would answer them all. Okay, so first of all I would talk about evaluation criteria. Evaluation criteria does mean the criteria on basis of which examiner is going to give you bans. First of all, this is task accomplishment. First thing that examiner would check in your writing is task accomplishment. Okay, task accomplishment, what it is, we have to understand this thing. Task accomplishment does mean that examiner has given you a question. You will have to answer that question according to the demand of examiner. Okay, so if we try to understand this in other words, like if you ask me a question, then it becomes my responsibility to answer that question to the extent that you can understand very well. Okay, if you are not justified with the answer, then probably you are not going to give me good scores. So on the same basis, examiner would also evaluate your performance in the writing task 2. Task accomplishment, so as to do task accomplishment, you will have to understand the question very well. Okay, so there are two things in writing task 2 that you will have to focus upon in the beginning. First of all is the statement. You will have to read and understand the statement, and thereafter there would be a question accompanying that. Okay, so this is task accomplishment. In IELTS it is said that if monkey is asking for banana, then give him banana. It does mean that according to the demand of question, you will have to answer time and again. I am repeating the same thing, that so as to satisfy, so as to accomplish your task, you will have to answer as per the demand of a question. So this particular criteria do have weightage of 25%. You can well imagine the importance of task accomplishment from the value it has. Okay, then second thing is GRA. GRA does mean, you might have seen that written on the answer booklet. Okay, or the answer book that, upon which you write your answers. At the end of it, they would be written GRA. Okay, so actually all 4 criteria would be written over there. So one of them is GRA. GRA does mean, if I try to elaborate that, it does mean grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range, you might understand this word come from grammar. Okay, grammatical range and accuracy. Accuracy, what is accuracy? Accuracy does mean that like whatever grammar do you use, that should be correct, because we used to use English is not our mother language, mother tongue, so we have to translate our ideas from our mother language, mother tongue to the English. So as to do so, there are certain set of rules and regulations that we have to follow. Okay, so if you have followed those rules accurately, then you are able to attain the accuracy level. So the first thing is accuracy, when the second criteria would be focused upon by the examiner. Now second thing is range. Now what is range? Like while translating your ideas from Punjabi or Hindi, whatever language do you speak, to the English, like your sentence formation can be simple, this can be complex, and sometimes this can be compound. Variety of grammatical structure you can use in your writing, like you can use different kind of phrases, phrasal verbs, sorry to say that, phrasal verbs, different kind of phrasal verbs you can use. So variety of ways are there to translate your ideas from Punjabi to Punjabi. Time and again I do say Punjabi because my mother tongue is Punjabi. You might be Hindi or some other also. So here I would like to say so that while translating your ideas, you should use variety of sentence formations so as to show examiner that your control upon English language is quite good, because motive of IELTS examination is to find out your abilities in English language at an international level. Okay, so I hope that it would be clear to you. Again, its weightage is of 25%. Okay, again its weightage is 25%. The next thing that I would cover here is lexical resources. Lexical resources nothing but it is vocabulary. Okay, so you know that very well that while translating our ideas from our mother tongue to English language, we will have to use grammar, and thereafter there is a lexical resources. You might be having a range of good vocabulary so as to translate your ideas from one language to English language. Okay, so if you do have good vocabulary, then obviously you are able to write well. Examiner would get impressed out of it. But here I would like to add one thing, that like sometimes it happens, out of my experience I am telling you this thing, sometimes it happens that students do have number of words that they have learnt and they like those words very well. While writing anything, they try to introduce those words in their writing. So I want to tell you one thing, that our motive is to give a good answer, as I said in the beginning. So as to accomplish the task, we have to answer as per the demand of the question. So if we would focus just upon lexical resources and would try to introduce those particular words that we have learned or the words that we like, then in doing so sometimes it happens, students used to do that, sometimes it happens that they deviate their ideas so as to introduce vocabulary words. That is not, mind my words, that is not a good idea. So if you would do that, examiner would feel as if that the student has tried to befool him. He has tried to impress him just because of his vocabulary. That is not a good idea. Vocabulary is a like important criteria in the evaluation. You should have good vocabulary range, but mind this, that you should not use those vocabulary words that are not suitable. If you would do that, certainly there is scope, there is chance that examiner would deduct your bands on basis of that thing. Last but not the least is cohesion and coherence. You have to understand what is cohesion. This is also equally important as other criteria are. Here again, lexical resources do have weightage of 25%. Cohesion and coherence again do have weightage of 25%. Now let us understand what is cohesion. Cohesion is linking. Okay, when you would write your writing, like there would be 4 paragraphs in general. Otherwise, I would like to tell you one thing, that Cambridge has not decided anything. Cambridge has not mentioned anything. There is not any recommendation from the Cambridge. Like Cambridge, I mean to say that Cambridge is a body that conduct examination, IELTS examination. Okay, so but we have designed something that first of all in your writing you will have to introduce your writing. Introduction. This is first body paragraph, not body paragraph, this is first paragraph that you write in your writing, and second thing is body paragraph 1. Next is body paragraph 2. Last is conclusion. Okay, so again I would repeat one thing, that Cambridge has not mentioned anything that it is must for you to write only two paragraphs. Okay, they can be any number, but so as to manage, so as to balance, so as to make our writing symmetrical, it is always advisable to write 2 body paragraphs. You can go up to 3. It depends upon the kind of question that is asked to you. Suppose in a situation when like a question is suppose in the statement there is a question nowadays youngsters used to say that they have to face number of problems. Now the question that follows this statement is, what are those problems? What are the reasons of those problems? And what can be the possible solutions of those problems? Now, because we have to cover 3 things in this particular question. First, problems that today's youngsters face, the reasons of those problems and the solutions of those problems. So as to keep different things at different place, here in this situation it is advisable to write 3 body paragraphs. But otherwise in most of the cases you will be able to answer your task 2 in 2 body paragraphs only. Okay, so at the end there will be conclusion. Now I would come again to the cohesion. What is cohesion? Like, while writing these 4 paragraphs, we are answering only one topic. Okay, so we have kept different things at different places in 4 paragraphs. In introduction, we would give introduction about the topic. In body paragraph first, we would cover one aspect of the topic. In body paragraph 2, we would cover other aspect of the writing. And at the end, we would conclude. Conclusion does mean that whatever we have discussed so far, we would conclude, we would summarize, we would sum up it at the end. So now, again, cohesion is that there must be linking between different paragraphs. It does mean that when you complete your introduction, so as to come up to body paragraphs first, there must be a link in between. You cannot hop from introduction to body paragraph first. I hope it is clear to you. Then when you would write body paragraph second, again you cannot hop from body paragraph first to body paragraph second. So there must be a smooth linking between both the body paragraphs. And then when your body paragraph 2 would complete, when your body paragraph 2 would complete thereafter, so as to come up to conclusion, again you will have to use a link between. Okay, so if you are not doing so, then you are not satisfying this thing, cohesion. Okay, so again within the body paragraph, because so as to answer one aspect of a topic, you must use different kind of ideas. Your views can be different, but at the end they are answering the same question. So that's why, suppose if you are writing 2 ideas in body paragraph first, or they may be 3, they may be 4 even. Okay, at the end I will tell you that how many ideas you should mention here. But suppose if you are writing 2 or 3 ideas or viewpoints so as to answer this particular aspect in body paragraph first, there must be linking between different viewpoints, different ideas, so as to maintain the flow, so as to keep your writing smooth enough. Okay, so this is about cohesion. If you are jumping from here to there, if your writing is not smooth enough, then examiner or any reader would not find any interest in your writing. So probably you would lose your bands. Okay, so it is important. Then there is coherence. What is coherence? You will have to understand that thing. Coherence is about organization of your writing. How do you organize your writing? First of all, so as to organize your writing, we have divided it into different paragraphs. Okay, then next thing is what to write in body paragraph first, what to write in body paragraph second. Can we write those ideas that we have mentioned in body paragraph 2 in the body paragraph first? In some of the questions, in certain particular questions we can do so, but in other questions we cannot. So that's why, so as to satisfy this thing, coherence, we will have to keep that in our mind before starting writing our writing task 2, that what to write in body paragraph first and what to write in body paragraph second. It would entirely depend upon the kind of question that you are answering. I would explain you that later. Okay, so so far like we have discussed coherence, and second thing about coherence is I want to add to it that second thing about coherence is that you should write your idea according to the decreasing order of their importance. Decreasing order of their importance, it does mean that your most important idea should be at first place and less important or the least important ideas should be arranged accordingly. So the most important idea should be at first place and the least important idea should be kept at the last place. In other words, also many a times people used to say that first impression is the last impression. So as to create that impression, it is always advisable, it is suggested, it is recommended that you must write the most important idea at first place and the least important idea at the last place. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, then let me talk about other things which are important in writing task 2. I was saying that you must arrange your ideas as per the decreasing order of their importance. How would you come to know about that which idea is more important and which idea is less important? You will have to plan about it. Okay, so first of all, before starting your writing, when you read your topic, when you read your question, thereafter you have to do your planning. You do this thing within first 5 minutes. You do have, in totality, you know that you do have 60 minutes in writing and you will give 40 minutes to task 2. I would write it T2. Okay, so within these 40 minutes, you will have to complete your writing. But we would divide this time further. First of all, we would give 5 minutes to planning. Okay, planning, or you may call it brainstorming. In this particular part, you would plan about what to write, and what to write in which paragraph. Okay, so in planning, like suppose, let me take an example of a topic. Suppose you do have a topic, suppose it is suggested by many that bicycle should be advised to travel within a city. Okay, this is one type of view. Whereas others recommend, or I would say suggest, to use car for the same motive. This is statement. As I said in the beginning, that you would have a statement and a question. The question that accompanies it is, discuss both the views and give your opinion at the end. Now, when you would plan, first of all, you would read the statement. when you would read the statement, your motive in doing so would be to understand that what is the theme of this particular statement. So if you focus upon this, then you will come to know about theme of this statement is to travel within a city. In doing so, we do have two options. Either we can use a bicycle or we can use a car. Okay, so we understood that what is the theme of the topic, and the next thing that we'll have to understand is discuss both the views and give your opinion at the end. Okay, so as to answer this particular question, as he has said, demand of examiner is that like he want to know about your views about both the sides. Okay, so both the side does mean that one side is about car and other side is about bicycle. Okay, if you would write about those people who sport bicycle, then obviously you will have to mention the reasons because of which they would say so. Okay, so in this planning part, again I would come up to planning. Then why I have written this word here, planning. Planning does mean that you will have to, I have to rub this. So planning, you will write here bicycle, suppose. This is my way to plan my writing. I would suggest you to follow that if you find it convenient. Whatever ideas appear in your mind regarding bicycle, you would mention them all here. Okay, suppose the first reason that would come to your mind to use bicycle to travel within a city is that it is inexpensive. Inexpensive because you do not use any fuel to travel by bicycle. Then it is eco-friendly. It is eco-friendly mode of transportation. Third idea that you would include here, you may include here, is that promotes, let me change my marker. It promotes health. It does have health benefits. So on that basis also we can recommend people to use bicycle, or the people who used to sport bicycle, they might be thinking about it. Okay, then the fourth one is that nowadays we see that there is parking problem in cities. People have to park their vehicle on the road itself, because of which passerbys have to face many problems. So on that basis we can mention here, we can talk about parking issues, because we know that very well that, okay. So these are 4 points that we cover in bicycle. Okay, so when we talk about coherence, so here we will have to see that which point is more important than other points. Okay, so I would suggest you to not to cover all the 4 points, because our motive is to explain something. Our motive is not to include all the points, because examiner is not going to grant bands on the basis of number of points that you have covered. Rather, his motive is to check it out, that how did you explain it. Okay, so first of all we would search out that which point is the most important. Here, according to my opinion, eco-friendly is going to be the most important point. Why? Because it is more general as compared to other points. Ecological balance, the disturbance in the ecological balance is the global issue. All people, all countries of the world are concerned with it. So that's why if we would focus upon this point, this is going to become more important than other ones. Okay, so the second point, according to my opinion, which is more important, is going to be health. Okay, so we all know that nowadays people are not health conscious. Much of the work that they used to do, they used to depend for that on machines only. In other words, we can say that they have adopted sedentary lifestyle. So because of this type of lifestyle, they have become victim of many diseases. The most obvious among them is obesity. Okay, so here if we say that people should ride bicycle to travel within a city, then this idea is going to promote their health also. So as to make it more impressive, we may say that it is just like killing two birds with one stone. Not only with the help of bicycle, we are going to ride in the city without spending money, without depleting our fuel resources, but at the same time we are going to promote our health also. Okay, so these points according to my opinion are going to be more important. Now the idea is that first of all we would raise this point. I would say that people should ride bicycle, or the people who used to say so that bicycle is a good idea to travel in a city might be thinking of using it because it is eco-friendly mode of transportation. So this is my point. This is the way how I raise my point. Okay, then I would explain it. So as to explain it, I would say that it is eco-friendly mode of transportation. Why it is eco-friendly mode of transportation? I would think like that examiner would understand it on his or her own, but I would have to explain it because the motive of examiner is less in your knowledge but more in the way that you explain the things. Okay, so I would say that it is eco-friendly mode of transportation because bicycle neither consume any fossil fuel nor it emits any harmful gases into the environment. On that basis, we are going to say that it is eco-friendly mode of transportation. Okay. Now, so as to justify this idea more, I would like to include an example here. Here I would like to suggest to you that you must include those examples which are like more authentic, which are more logical. You must not include those examples which are concerned with you, or in other words, I would like to say that you should not include any personal examples here. Okay. So like an example comes to my mind that China, we all know that because of extensive industrialization, the development has occurred in China, but at the same time contents of pollutants are also increasing there. Okay, so like in some cities, I have read in an article that in some cities China has implemented a concept that these particular cities are restricted for fuel driven vehicles. Only the bicyclist can travel inside the cities. So they they conducted a survey, and within a period of 1 year they have come to know about that there was drastic decrease in the pollution contents in the city. So this could be possible just because of bicycles. On this basis, if I would include this example in my explanation, then certainly my idea is going to be more authentic. It is going to be more justifying. On the same basis, when I would explain this second idea, it promotes the health. Again, first of all, I would raise this idea, then I would explain it, then at the end I would try to include an example so as to justify it more. Okay, so this is our way to explain the things, and when I started to explain it, at that time I said that we have to maintain the coherence. So as to maintain the coherence, first of all we would analyze all the points that appear in our mind. We would make like a tree like this, and we would analyze at the end that which point is more important than the other one. The first point should be the most important. I am going to repeat the same thing once more, that the most important point should be kept at the first point and the less important or the least one should be kept at the last. So this is how we explain the things. I hope that everything till now would be clear to you. Okay, so now I would like to discuss about the type of questions that examiner is supposed to ask to you, so that we don't find any difficulty in understanding those questions, we do not find any difficulty in designing our answers at the same time. Okay. Now the type of questions. First type of question that examiner may ask you is, do you agree or disagree? Now try to understand this. In my discourse, I have told you that we have to understand the question first. If monkey is asking for banana, then we should give him banana only. Okay, I want to say that I'm not saying monkey to anyone, but here my motive to say is that we have to answer according to the demand of a question. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, let us underline it. Do you agree or disagree? So while asking this question, motive of examiner in knowing is that you should either cover agreement or disagreement. We cannot include both the things in our explanation. Okay, so it does mean that both in BP1 as well as BP2 we are going to talk either about agreement or about disagreement only. Okay, so this is how we write or we answer question, that is, do you agree or disagree. If I talk about second type of question, that can be, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Or this question can be put in other words too, that is, how far do you agree or disagree? Now, as the question is changed, so is our answer. To what extent? Extent means amount. To what amount do we agree or disagree? How far do you agree or disagree? It is about the limit. To what limit do you agree or disagree? If we try to understand this question minutely, then we would come to know about the motive of examiner while asking this question is to know that you agree and disagree both, but your extent of agreement and disagreement varies. In other words, you would say that we either partially agree or partially disagree with the statement which is there in the question. Okay, so we'll have to cover both agreement as well as disagreement. One side would be more than 50%, other side should be less than 50%, as we have discussed in coherence, that the most important idea, viewpoint, should be kept at the first place and the less important should be, I would say that is less important, but comparatively it is not as important as the first one is. Okay, so the viewpoint, either it is agreement or disagreement, which is more in weightage, okay, more in percentage, should be kept in the first body paragraph, the other one should be kept in the second body paragraph. Okay, so now about the third type of question, that is, discuss both the views. I have talked about this question earlier too, but I didn't explain that at that time. Okay, so but now I would try to explain it more so that you understand it well, to not to find any problem while writing. Discuss both the views and give your opinion at the end. Now, in this type of question, if we try to understand this once again, Discuss both the views and give your opinion at the end. It does mean that there must be two viewpoints in the statement that we will have to understand, and we will have to support them both individually. Okay, so it does mean that first type of view should be covered in first body paragraph and the second type of view should be covered in the second body paragraph. Again, I would talk about the statement that I have covered earlier too, that is, some people say that we should travel by we should travel by bicycle in cities. Other people say that car is more suitable for this reason. Discuss, if I attach this question with that particular statement, discuss both the views and give your opinion at the end. Now in this situation, first of all, we would talk about bicycle, and in the second body paragraph we are going to talk about the car. Okay, before answering or in conclusion, first of all we would balance both the viewpoints. So as to balance, we may write a line that though both modes of transportation do have their own advantages and disadvantages, or we may say that both the viewpoints do have their respective advantage at their own ends, advantages or disadvantages at their own ends, but still I feel like as riding bicycle would address the major issue regarding environments, that's why it is more advisable as per my opinion to use bicycle. Okay, so in this way, in this particular type of question, we would explain the ideas and at the end would give the conclusion. Okay, I feel that class is going to be quite long, that's why I'm going to end it up for now. In the next class we will discuss other aspects of writing task 2 topic. Over there I will talk about various kind of connectors that we should use so as to maintain cohesion. We will talk about the kind of vocabulary that we can use in writing task 2 topic. Okay, students, I have tried my best to explain you everything so that you can understand the thing, you can answer your writing task 2 well. Okay, but if still you do have, as in the beginning also I have told you to write comments. If you do find any difficulties, then I would again say that you should write in the comment box. Certainly I would try to answer your questions. Okay, like my motive is to make you everything clear. So whatever experience, whatever knowledge I have attained so far about IELTS examination, I would try my best to cater it to you. Okay, so hope it is clear. I hope that it is clear to you and you are going to score quite good in your examination. Particularly I feel that you won't find any difficulty in writing task 2. Okay, and if you like this video, then I would suggest to you, I would ask you to like it and post comments. Okay, subscribe my channel so that I get appreciated. I would post more videos. Okay, all the best.